Welcome to another edition of INN CEO Talks. Joining me today is Jim Engdahl, the CEO of Mass Gold Corporation, which is listed on the TSX Venture under the symbol MAS. Mass Gold is focused on two projects in the prolific Ronge gold belt in east central Saskatchewan. The area is part of the lower Proterozoic trans-Hudsonian orogeny, which houses domains of island arc and sedimentary basin rocks that have been folded and refolded, faulted, and highly metamorphosized. The area has been compared to similar settings in West Africa, where the lower Proterozoic belts are considered to be very, very prospective for gold. The company's two Saskatchewan projects are the Greywacke and the Preview North property. Joining me now is Jim Engdahl, the CEO. Jim, welcome.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here on the show.
Great to be on the show.
Let's start with your latest news. Over the past couple of months, you've been pretty busy with drills in the ground. So what's been happening, and when can we maybe start to expect to see some results?
Well, you're correct. March was an exceptionally busy month and a busy winter drill program. We did 25 holes, 15 in the Greywack deposit and 10 in the Preview North deposit. We have the first one hole result back, and that was announced earlier. But we have the rest of the results are pending, but we expect to have them all starting to flow in anytime, which announcements will start flowing out as they come in, and hopefully we'll have them all finished by the end of April.
What was the announcement on that first hole that you now have the results from?
On the Greywack, the first hole was very good. It was drilled right into the zone, and we hit, I'm going to have to give you a quick guesstimate here, but I believe we were 8 grams of 10 meters, and it was right near the upper part of that deposit.
Those are positive results, aren't they? And so, if everything pans out the way that you want to, what is the plan for that mine? Will it be an underground mine, or do you envision it being an open pit type of operation?
So our overall objective for both the projects that we're talking about is to reach 1 million ounces of gold in resource, hopefully this year. The Greywacke has 100,000 approximately ounces in its resource, and it is right at surface, and it is possible that we could put that into production very quickly with a Nelson concentrator type approach, and mine that. If the rest of the drill results are as good as we would like to see them, we may decide to further extend the drilling to create a very large high-grade deposit. If they don't happen to be at that level, then we will probably move to production fairly quickly. We have done a previous bulk sample on that project back in 2013, and it yielded recovery rates of north of 80% with just gravity. So it's a terrific opportunity to create some cash flow and further develop our Preview North deposit.
And so for viewers, they're going to be listening to you going, okay, your plan then is to build out this mine site and operate it rather than vend into a major.
Well, I think for the most part, any of Ron Nedlitsky's companies, and this is one of many that he has, the intent is always to take it through to production. If something happens on the way to production, which quite often does, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we have a pretty strong team behind us, and we are capable of doing something of that magnitude with the Greywacke. Now, the Preview North is another one. We have 417,000 ounces in a resource category there. Our drill program hopefully will expand that, but it's in an area where there is a former producing mine that is now presently owned by the government, and we're in discussions with them of accessing that as well. So if we're successful in that, along with our drill program, we could reach our 1,000,000 ounces of our internal targets this year, fairly soon, actually. We have 3 key milestones that we're waiting on for in this month, and the first one is our drill results. From that will determine what our next program will look like for the rest of the summer. And we're also waiting on an arbitration decision on our Preview North and Greywack properties. They were the subject of a joint venture with Golden Band Resources. We, in turn, had spent a fair bit of money on those projects over the course of the 2016 up to 2016, and subject to that, they didn't participate. So based on the calculation that we have on our, they have been diluted down to 0 to an NSR. They disputed that, and so that has gone to arbitration. That arbitration decision was the last meeting was held on March 17th with the arbitrator, and that judgment is pending. We're very optimistic, but one way or the other, it's going to give clarity on the ownership of that property. We own at least 50. We think we own 100, and the judge will tell us soon what we actually own. So having said that, that is a key milestone for us. That, along with our drill results, and hopefully the acquisition of the other shutdown mine close to our Preview North properties.
So let's just talk a little bit about Saskatchewan in this area. As a rule, you know, they're thought of as being uranium rich and also potash. And so there is a mining mindset within the region. But as you're now starting to move into gold, are there shifts or changes that have to be accounted for as you move forward with your plans if the drill results come back as you anticipate?
Actually, ironically, Saskatchewan is ranked the #1 jurisdiction in the world for mining and investment for mining. That just came out, and the premier here is quite excited about that. That wasn't the case back in the 60s. There was some political issues that was not, and that's a result. But the largest potash mines in the world are here, and the richest uranium mines in the world are here. And that has created a northern environment, in particular the uranium, and opened up the north. But gold never really got explored for in Saskatchewan until in the 1980s approximately. And the first gold deposit that was put into production was the Seabee gold mine that Claude Resource owned. Ironically, I happened to be the director of finance at the time at Claude. And so in 1991, we poured our first brick. That project continued to grow and expand. And once the Seabee was mined out, a mile east of there, the Santoy was put into production, which is the same property. It was also then, Claude was acquired by Silver Standard Resources. Right as of today, when in 91, when that mine went into production, it had 400,000 ounces and producing 50,000 ounces a year. Today, they got 1,000,000 ounces in resource approximately, and are producing 120,000 ounces a year. And that's 60K from kilometers from our Greywack project. We think that whole Ronge gold belt is now going to become one of the more prolific gold producers of the world, or certainly of Canada. And there was 3 other gold mines, all in that area that we talked about, that had started and stopped, all within throwing distance of our projects.
Wow. And of course, that speaks to the fact that infrastructure in that area in Saskatchewan is well established. But even if you needed to do a little bit of infrastructure expansion, Saskatchewan is flat and it's relatively easy to do. It's not like you're in the mountainous terrains of, let's say, British Columbia or South America. So any additional build-out that you have to do is going to be relatively easy, is it not?
It is in our case, because Ron Nedlitsky's when he checked these properties out and wanted to get involved in Saskatchewan, one of the things was infrastructure and logistics. And all of our projects are within a stone's throw of a major highway, along with electrical power and a great working environment with the Ronge community and the Ronge band for the most part. So we have a terrific, all of the pieces are there to put it all together.
Well, you just touched on another very important part, your relationship with the First Nations in the region. For anybody outside of Canada, they need to know that this is fundamentally important, and that when you have those relationships secured, you're helping to ensure the success of the project.
Yes, and the Ronge band was very active on the mine that I had referred to previously, the Contact Lake mine, when Cameco used to own it and had it in production. And they had many jobs that was responsible for them. And so they're quite excited about the possibility of that project coming back on stream again.
So the question that virtually everybody who watches these interviews is asking, why now? Why should I invest now in your company, in this opportunity?
Well, I think one of the reasons our value is its terrific value, as our stock value is trading around 12, 13 cents right now. And we anticipate, or we certainly like to believe, that we're going to increase in market cap fairly rapidly over the next several months once all of our milestones get going, and we start working towards a definitive timeline for a project completion and production dates, if that's what we come up with by the end of this month. And I think we will be coming up with those sort of things. So pre-production, a lot of good results coming out, and I think we'll be one of the leaders in the area for consolidating a lot of smaller opportunities to help expand and grow that. And that's the intention of where we're at right now.
Wow. So it sounds really exciting. I hope you'll come back in a couple of months and give us an update, because I'm keen to know how this is all going to progress. Please do come back and join us. Thank you very much for taking the time to share this information with us today.
I would love to.